Hi, you two.
Sorry to lay that on you,
Yeah, but I'm always ready for your surprises. I'm ready for you, Dave. I'm ready. You can trust me.
Good morning. Welcome to First Parish Brewster. We're a congregation of people of diverse philosophies and beliefs, people of various cultures and races, sexual orientations, gender identities, socioeconomic backgrounds. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your path, may this be a place of rest and restoration on your journey. I'm Twinks Hastings, the Director of Lifespan Religious Education. Happy to be welcoming you to worship this morning with our worship leader, Jane Perkins, who is not Margaret Rice-Moyer. Margaret is sick, and Jane has stepped in, so we are grateful for her. And Kaisa Fern, our Director of Music. Our services are recorded and available on our YouTube channel midweek. Masks are now optional, but we do have this back right-hand corner where masks are required. We're a community who celebrate the movement and noises that our children and youth make. However, if you could take a moment to silence your cell phone, that would be wonderful. Welcome to those of you who are first-time visitors. We are so glad to have you here. Please fill out a welcome card if you would like to find out some more information about all that First Parish has to offer. And we also say hello to those streaming. Hello, everybody. Welcome to worship. Happy New Year. It is so good to be together. The bells are broken.
The hours grow shorter as the days go by. You never get to stop and open your eyes. One day you're waiting for the sky to fall. The next you're dazzled by the beauty of it all. When your lovers in a dangerous time, when your lovers in a dangerous time. These fragile bodies of touch and taste, this vibrant skin, this hair like lace, spirits open to the thrust of grace. Is there never a breath you can afford to waste? When your lovers in a dangerous time, when your lovers in a dangerous time. When your lovers in a dangerous time. Sometimes you're made to feel your love's a crime. Does nothing worth having come without some kind of fight? Must we kick at darkness till it bleeds daylight? When your lovers in a dangerous time, when your lovers in a dangerous time.
So I'll be reading Margaret's opening words. Hi, Margaret. And this is, may you fall madly in love this year. May you fall madly in love this year, in love with someone who unhinges your tired trajectory in love with a spouse of several years who might be aching for lightning, in love with demanding children and crazy relatives, in love with the particular pedigree of genius insanity that has perhaps claimed you in spite of your reluctance, and certainly in love with an animal, a cloud, a redwood, the wild, and feedback. These at least once a day. May you fall in love with this fragile jewel of a world, with hard work, real learning, just causes, petitioning, and prayers. May you fall in love with wonder itself, with the grand mystery, with all that feeds you in order that you may live, and with the responsibility that that confers. May you fall in love with heartbreak and seeing how it's stitched into everything. May you fall in love with the natural order of things and with tears, tenderness, and humility. May this be a magnificent year for you. May you fall deeply, madly, hopelessly, inextinguishably in love. Before we sing, I invite you to stand and greet your neighbor, and then we'll have our song.
All right. Let us remain standing if you are, and you can take your little insert. Good morning, Happy New Year. You didn't get an insert. Okay, well, some people have inserts, so let's pass them around. Who knows this song, Everybody, by Ingrid Michaelson? We have a couple people. Okay. People who know this song already, you're going to be part 2 when it splits into 2 parts down here. People who know the song need to sing part 2. Everybody else, we're going to lead the way with part 1, and I'll sing it to you. It goes, you're going to do line by line here just so you learn it. Everybody, everybody wants to love. Go. Everybody. Everybody, everybody wants to be loved. Now we're going to do it all together. It goes, everybody, everybody wants to love. Everybody, everybody wants to be loved. Oh, 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 oh. Do it again. Everybody, everybody wants to love. Everybody, everybody wants to be loved. Oh, 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 oh. You got it. So remember, part 1, that's going to be most of you, but brave people who know this song, we're going to sing part 2. And you'll have actually heard it. You'll hear it being sung, and you can sing along if you want, right above where we have the split. So let's try to have an actual split on that, part 1 and part 2. A few brave people are going to try part 2. I know it. We have fallen down again tonight, and if you know it, sing along. In this world, it's hard to get it right. Try to make your heart fit like a glove. everybody wants to love. Everybody wants to be loved. Oh, oh, oh. Everybody wants to love. Everybody wants to be loved. Oh, oh, oh. Happy is the heart that still feels pain. Darkness drains and light will come again. Swing open up your chest and let it in. Just let the love, love, love begin. Everybody wants to love. Everybody wants to be loved. Oh, 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 oh. Everybody wants to love. Everybody wants to be loved. Oh, 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 oh. Everybody knows the love. Everybody holds the love. Everybody folds for love. Everybody feels the love. Everybody steals the love. Everybody heals with love. Here we go. Everybody wheels the love. Everybody holds the love. Everybody folds for love. Everybody feels the love. Everybody steals the love. Everybody heals for love. Oh, just let the love, love, love begin. Everybody wants to love. Everybody wants to be loved. Oh, oh, oh. Everybody wants to love. Everybody wants to be loved. Oh, oh, oh. Ooh, just let the love, love, love begin.
Awesome. I'm going to invite my friend Levi to come and light our chalice. For this 1 hour, Spirit of Life, we let go. For this 1 hour, may we let go of our anxieties, our fears, our anger, our self-doubts, our regrets, our petty grievances, and our distractions. If only for this 1 hour, let the flame of this chalice burn them from our hearts and minds, and light our way to peace and serenity for this one holy hour. Please join me in our unison affirmation. We believe in love.
Love is the doctrine of this church.
We believe in truth.
The quest for truth is the sacrament.
We believe in helping others.
Service is our prayer.
We believe in the sacredness of life.
To the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine.
So this year in CYM, we have been exploring the gifts of our faith as we move towards the new Article 2 in our bylaws. And so every week downstairs, we start by opening this gift box. And so I thought today we would do this up here. Now, what's really incredible is every week I put a different object in here, and somehow they all work it out within like 2 or 3 guesses. So let's see if this magic works today. Okay, so our theme is love. What do you think is in the box? I'll shake it for you. Any guesses? Levi? A paper heart. So close. Any other guesses? It's a heart. It's not quite paper, though. It's not chocolate. but that would be great. A what? No, they're going to be love notes, but for now, I mean, paper heart is perfectly perfect. They are wooden hearts, but what's cool about them is they have a magnet on the back. And so the gift that we're learning about this month is love. But there's kind of two broad types of love, one being compassionate love, which is where we hug our friends and our parents and those we love. And when we bring food to someone who's sick maybe, that's our sort of compassionate love. But our liberating love, that's what the magnet's about, because our faith pulls us, like a magnet pulls things towards it, pulls us towards liberating love, which is a love that works to help end the bigger issues in our world. It's a love that pulls us towards action. So it's maybe not something we love, like homelessness on Cape Cod because of the housing market or food insecurity. But this liberating love that is a gift of our faith draws us towards that. So it's kind of a big concept. So I'm going to tell you this story, which has both compassionate and liberating love in it, and probably some of you know a version of it. So it happens in a village. It's always a little village on Cape Cod, I think. And one day, one of the young kids in the village went down to the river and saw that there was some pollution in it. And she was kind of shocked by this because it's really a beautiful, beautiful, quaint little village on Cape Cod. And she thought, oh, this is not good. So she pulls out some of the plastic and kind of cleans up the bank. And she's like, okay, good. And the very next day, when they went back to the river, there was a lot more pollution. There was some dead fish in there. And she thought, oh my goodness, this is terrible. So she went to get some friends, and everyone came down to the river, and they cleaned up the pollution and cleaned up the trash and helped the fish feel better. And then the next day, it was just getting worse and worse and worse. And before they knew it, in this village, their whole river was filled with trash and filled with pollution. And so everybody, because they had a great community in this little village on Cape Cod, came together, and the whole community went down and started cleaning up the riverbank. And then there was people bringing snacks to the people cleaning up the riverbank, because snacks are important when you're practicing liberating love. And someone else brought some umbrellas when it was a really rainy day, this little village on Cape Cod. And so the whole community worked together to clean up this river. And then one day, the girl, who I think probably went to like a CYM program in her own church, she thought, all we are doing is spending all of our time and energy cleaning up this river, but I wonder what's causing the pollution. So she said to some of the elders, I think we should go up the river and see where this pollution is coming from. And they sort of said, oh, we just can't spare anyone. We're all working on cleaning the river. And if some people go upriver, that's like really complicated. We're not going to do that. And so they spent another week pulling all this trash and dead fish, creatures out of the river. And then finally the child said, I'm just going to go upriver myself. And in my head, she like goes to the youth group, and they're like, yes, we're going to come up the river with you. But I don't know if that's true in the story. However, this group of youth and young people walked up the river, and they saw that the village next door had built a new factory, and there was a big dam of like plastic had built up. And so that's what was causing all this plastic and trash and pollution to come down the river. So they spoke to the folks in that village, and then the folks in that village were like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this. We're so sorry. And everyone worked together to clean up this big pile of leftover waste from building the new factory. And then they didn't have any problems down the river anymore because the source of the pollution had been found. And so that's kind of like where these two loves are. The compassionate love is everyone coming together and helping to clean the banks and really supporting this young child in her wish to have a clean river. But the liberating love, that part of the magnet that told her, that like pulled her towards, where is this coming from? What is the source of this? That's the liberating love, and that's the gift of our faith, being called together to work on those systematic or underlying problems that cause a lot of the sadness and grief in our world. So with that, Willa, I believe you're going to light our lantern for us. Give you this. Excellent, you can blow that one out. Here, hold on. You can take it with you, okay? And with that, we're going to take this light of this community downstairs and we'll sing our children out.
Thank you to Twinks. So this morning's split plate is with AIDS Support Group of Cape Cod, which saves lives through prevention, education, and life-sustaining services. They provide a wide range of medical, nutrition, housing, and transportation assistance to people still living with HIV and AIDS, as well as support groups, and provide free preventive contraception. And your offering will benefit this organization and the great work of First Parish. You can make checks payable to FPBUU with split plate on the memo line. Please write a separate check for pledge payments. And you can text to give at 508-257-7181.
To be humble, to be kind, it is a giving of the peace in your mind. To a stranger, to a friend, to give in such a way that has no end. We are love, we are one, we are how we treat each other when the day is done. Are we peace? Are we war? We are who we treat each other, nothing more. To be bold, to be brave, it is a thinking that the soul can still be saved. But the darkness can come quick, the dangers and the anger and the holding on to it. We are love, we are one, we are how we treat each other when the day is done. Are we peace? Are we war? We are how we treat each other, nothing more. Tell me what it is that you see. World with endless possibilities. Heroes don't look like they used to, they look like you do. We are love, we are one, we are how we treat each other when this day is done. Are we peace? Are we war? We are how we treat each other, nothing more. We or how we treat each other, nothing more.
That was beautiful. When despair rises as a monster from the deep and drags down one of our own, our answer is that we open our hearts to love. When hatred and anger rage in fire and suffering, we bend to pick up the wounded, to bind up ourselves, and we open our hearts to love. When fear whispers, build more gates, add more locks, the blessed are those who defend themselves. We rock those fears to sleep and let them rest as we open our hearts to love. People will do unspeakably cruel and horrible things. We know this fact. We live and die this daily all around the world, in every community and every wasteland. But we know the answer is found only with one action, and so we open our hearts with love. Hatred never ceases by hatred, but by love alone can be healed. This is the truth we affirm. We live with courage and with a wider and wider circle of that force that bends our lives to ones of mercy, justice, and compassion. It's the truth. Just by being born, you are loved. There is something within you and every person that can be loved. With love. Thank you. That was by Lily Kostner. Oh, no, excuse me, it wasn't. It was by Naomi King. Okay, we'll have a moment of silence, and then we will sing hymn Return Again. Note to self. fall in love. Love schmuv. And here's my conundrum. How does love work without unilateral buy-in? And here's my new answer. It may not. But meaningful life is quite impossible without it. This I know. As is expressed so beautifully by Amanda Gorman in her poem Change Sings, she writes, maybe everything hurts, our hearts shadowed and strange, but only when everything hurts may everything change. I would suggest that we are now in an historic moment when, yes, everything hurts. I find myself beaten down, at moments even cynical, unable to summon the courage to read yet another news article, and angry. And what good am I then? No good. Not to myself, this lonely, frightened, aging woman, and no good to anyone else either. And isn't that a waste? Here's a story taken from the book, The Impossible Will Take a Little While, which Reverend Curran reminded me to reopen as I struggle with my despair. On the very first page in the introduction, author Paul Rogat-Loeb finds himself at a benefit in which Bishop Desmond Tutu is the highlighted speaker. Tutu was, at the time, fighting prostate cancer. Despite his poor health, Bishop Tutu spoke with great energy and enthusiasm about the transformation that had taken place following the fall of the US-supported apartheid government in his native South Africa. After the speeches, folks moved to the dance floor, and soon Loeb noticed Tutu dancing with contagious joy and abandonment. And Loeb thinks to himself, Tutu knows how to have a good time. He writes, Tutu's ability to recognize and embrace life's pleasures helps him face its cruelties and disappointments, be they personal or political. Whoa. And I thought, if he can do that after untold sorrow and violence in his country, and now as he faces a possible terminal cancer diagnosis, well then, so the heck can I. We are indeed living in an age of fear, living in a fear-based culture inevitably affects one's state of mind and the decisions one makes. You may become more compliant, more willing to surrender your rights for vague promises of safety and a false sense of returning to a simpler time when all seemed right with the world, despite crippling racism, limited voting rights, wars, homophobia, and few opportunities for women. All was never right with the world, but changes have taken place. Born of the fierce and radical love so many people demonstrated on behalf of their brothers and sisters. That was love, love and hope. I understand more now how we must, and I in particular, must cling to those inspirational values. And even when we are not successful in making the changes we want to see in the world, to try, to keep on trying, to refuse to close the heart to great love, which plays out in acts of compassion and justice. The danger we face is both exterior and interior as well. Our country has been captured by a cult of citizens who have narrowed their understanding of love and have chosen instead to seek easy answers. Looking for blame, they move closer and closer to authoritarianism, following the same ugly trajectory that Germans followed in 1933 and leading, of course, to the Holocaust. This is not impossible here, but also it's not predetermined. I needed to relearn that most important lesson in preparation for this morning's worship. Nothing good comes when we harden our hearts. In the book, The Secret Life of Bees, May, August's sister, has a most resonant heart. She cannot separate herself from the sorrows and pain others experience in this harsh world. She writes notes about these sorrows on bits of paper and squeezes them into cracks in a nearby rock wall. Of course, there is symbolism here, where the flimsy, broken-hearted slips of paper are held in the hard and immovable heart of the rock wall. But what do we do with our brokenness? We lean further into understanding how impossibly big our hearts can grow. When I read this tender, luminous story many years ago, I immediately identified with May. My boundaries have been porous in that way ever since I can remember. It is a beautiful and dangerous way to be. In the end, May cannot stand all the pain, so she drowns herself. But her wise, strong sister August shows reverence for May by draping black cloths over the beehives they care for. She explains that this is to prevent the bees from flying away after a death in the family. It is both a personal comfort for bereaved, but also a metaphor for how we are with each other. We return to each other in love when we are lost, when we are grieving, when we are celebratory. We return to love. In a few minutes, when we toll the bells for those we have lost this year and in years before, those who are still sorely missed, whose absences leaves a forever hole in our lives, we will call out our beloved's names, reminding them we always return to the hive, family, friends, and faith community. There are things that live inside us, very deep down, that are sometimes hard to bring to the surface. Being in safe and loving community can help us to retrieve these buried emotions. It can happen when we least expect it. Recently, in a covenant gathering, I unexpectedly was overwhelmed by the pregnant stillness and the difficult experiences of loving that floated so softly in that space. Words like safety, fear, vulnerability, healing, variables of loving children, honoring beloved ancestors, and of course loss, drifted around the room. I believe it's impossible to love without understanding the proximity and inevitability of grief to that relationship, be it personal or communal. Moments like this cannot happen in a vacuum. So here in this community, we make room for the depths of who we are, who we aspire to be, who we may not even yet know we are becoming. I call that love. Don't you? Filters are valuable, indeed necessary, as we learned from May's tragic suicide in The Secret Life of Bees. But when they are too thick, too dense, we are left with a false vision of reality. This does not serve us well. Somehow we are called to absorb what we can of pain and loss and suffering in our lives, in our world, and never overlook an opportunity for awe. Allowing both to live together inside us is how we move towards greater spiritual truth. Life is hard, and it is the "and" that makes the difference between despair and hope. We have seen this in every corner of the earth, in every possible horror. There have been examples of hope against all odds in concentration camps, in immigrant camps, jails, and tents, in the resiliency of oppressed peoples all over the world, as well as in our own failing system. And I am reminded also of what is sacred, enchanting, and mystical. The endless tides, the turtle crossing the busy highway to make her way to water, the star that shoots across the night black sky, the unspoken words and the look past between lovers, the furry legs of the bumblebee, the curious look on the faces of our wee ones when Twinks tells a story, the candlelight that flickered in the shadowed pews here in this room on Christmas Eve, and the hush that followed. Miracles abound. We must believe in them. It is not an impossibility to dream, and to dream big. We must remind ourselves all the time that the impossible may take a little while. From that hopeful, brilliant book come these words from an essay by Danushka Veronica Goska, a writer, academic, and activist. I suspect that we all have our 3 in the morning moments when all of life seems one no-exit film noir, where any effort is pointless, where any hope seems to be born only to be dashed like a fallen nestling on a summer sidewalk. When I have those moments, if I do nothing else, I remind myself. The ride in the snow, the volunteers at the food bank, And I recall the invisible, silent people who day by day force me to witness myself and keep me living my ideals. In 2001, after the Bush administration invaded Iraq, despite the fact that we'd been attacked by Afghanistan, I watched on TV the bombs exploding in the darkness a world away. It was so frightening to me. I felt my heart crumble. Every blown apart child, one woman, mother, and all the other collateral damage left me shocked, depressed, and feeling hopeless. It was the beginning of a brief period of deep ennui and numbing despair, and I was angry because I understood that our government, by its violent behavior, had stolen my joie de vivre, which has always stood me in good stead. I had never experienced a period like that. What saved me? I can remember the moment I entered coffee hour after worship at my then UU congregation. I felt myself alone in a room full of people I loved very much, all good people. One man, Roshan Shada, walked over to me, put his arms around me in a tight embrace, at which time I burst into sobs, racked by tears, hiccups, and gulps. He held me until I finished. It was a saving love he offered that Sunday morning. We are Unitarian Universalists. We can pass it on. Thank you. Grief, I've learned, is really just love. It's all the love you want to give, but cannot. All of that unspent love gathers up in the corners of your eyes, the lump in your throat, and in the hollow part of your chest. Grief is just love with no place to go. That's by Janice Anderson. I invite you now to come forward and speak the name of your loved one into the microphone. Please sit in silence as people are speaking the names, and after the names are spoken, we will do a tolling of the bells. I'm going to start. My dear cousin Bob.
My brother-in-law, Ed.
My friend, Pam Trummer.
My brother-in-law, Harry. Friend and composer, Ron Pereira.
My dear brother, Jim.
My dear friend, Joan Bernard.
My dear friend John Peters.
My brother Stephen.
Our friend Bob Curran.
My college friend Cosmo and a dear friend Hugh Finley.
My brother Paul.
A friend to us all, Carol Chiquetto, our ukulele friend Pam Trummer, and Ross's dad, Paul Berry.
My Aunt Rose and my Uncle Red.
We invite you to rise and join in singing our closing hymn, number 354 from the Gray Hymnal, We Laugh, We Cry.
Margaret, I want to thank you for these beautiful words today. So, in closing, I will say, in love, we pray for those families, those individuals, all the persons here and everywhere who are desperately sure that there is not enough love in the world for them to have some, who are desperately sure that they do not matter. In love with life, in love with the beloved, we turn to answer that desperation with assurance. You are loved, you are lovable, and we will and do love you. Now, attend to your life's work to love. It is the only agency that matters. Amen.